All right, patient 3. The patient was a 21-year-old, defensive lineman who presented with right shoulder pain and shortness of breath. History: the patient was a 21-year-old defensive lineman who presented with right shoulder pain and shortness of breath after landing on his shoulder while tackling another player during a spring football scrimmage. Okay, so I'm either thinking AC, could be SC, or a brachial plexus injury at this point in time. Um, the patient was removed from the game and reported shortness of breath, lightheadedness, and numbness and tingling of the upper arm and shoulder, and residual pain. Okay, numbness and tingling is kind of leading me to think more of brachial plexus syndrome. On evaluation, he was found to have tenderness to palpation over the right AC joint with mild lifting of the clavicle. Okay, so could also be AC sprain, like I said, or both. He also complained of generalized tenderness over the posterior shoulder and thorax. Okay. The patient was sent home with ice and an arm sling. The patient reported back later that evening with worsening pain and when he received imaging. So if the pain's getting worse, I don't think it would be the brachial plexus syndrome. I think it would be more of the AC sprain. Typically with the brachial plexus syndrome, it's the initial impact, like the depression of the shoulder and ipsilateral flexion of the neck that stretches the brachial plexus that really causes that pain. Pain is mainly like right after it happens and can linger for a little bit, but normally sensations return and they feel decently okay. I would say that the pain typically worsens. What was worsening pain and received imaging? Okay. He endorsed that range of motion was limited, so that's telling me AC as well, by increased pain and denied any recurrent shortness of breath. Okay, so his breathing returned back to normal. That's good. Um, Also, no numbness or tingling. Okay. So that leads me away from the brachial plexus syndrome again. He had a past medical history significant for panic attacks and multiple stinger injuries over the past several years. Okay. Panic attack could have caused that uh, breathing disruption. And then stinger injuries makes sense with the position he plays in sport and everything like that. Um, on the physical exam part, for general, initially the patient was tearful and upset, but as time passed, he was breathing comfortably. Okay. Could be the panic attacks setting in, a little bit of depression or anxiety as well, because he knew he was hurt. Neck, it was supple, normal range of motion. Cardiac, regular rate and rhythm, no murmurs. Lungs were clear, so no crackling, no wheezing, nothing like that out of the ordinary. Extremities, right shoulder in a sling and wrapped with ice. Limited range of motion and tenderness to palpate over the right posterior shoulder, thorax, and AC joint with mild lifting of the clavicle. Okay, so that's also pointing me towards the AC sprain. Skin, no rashes or skin lesions, normal color. So based off of this, I'm thinking it's mainly the main issue is the acromioclavicular joint sprain. Those mechanisms tend to be like either hitting something directly with your shoulder, and that separates the acromion from the clavicle, causing those ligaments to stretch, spraining that joint, or landing on the ground like he did, pretty much shoulder first. Um, could have sustained a stinger injury as well when it initially happened, but it seemed like those symptoms kind of subsided. So I think the main issue with this one is the AC sprain.